We're gonna start talking about Ed or Edwards, how we talk about Donovan Mitchell in the second round.
Yeah, yeah.
Third round, Ed or Ant Man.
Well,
Third
it
round
ain't. It's
Ed.
not even just that. Like I was talking about it. A homeboy of mine was talking about it. He was saying that here in a minute they're gonna have to talk about Anthony Edwards like they talk about Lamar Jackson. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Two Peas in a Pod with Tim and Ryan. As always, I'm Tim. That's my brother, my brethren, and my co-host, Ryan, aka Frank Dank. What's going on, brother?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Chilling. Just excited for vacation next week, dog. We get to go spend our annual weekend in Chicago. It's long overdue.
Yes, sir. I just got back. It's beautiful. It's
Yep.
beautiful this time of year.
Yeah, I was actually looking at some of your snaps, so that the currency concert definitely looked lit.
It definitely was lit. Definitely was lit.
So last night, the OKC Thunder were move on to the NBA Finals for the second time in what was this about? But
Since
15 years, right?
2012.
Yeah,
Yep.
2012, man. Once again, congratulations to the OKC Thunder. Ryan, what did you think about the series and how the superstars matched up against each other?
Just I wouldn't even say superstars. Just that OKC just have more firepower. They have more perimeter shooting. They play more team defense. They played better defense. They corralled the paint, and when you have a player that's inside out, he gets it going from the inside, and then he starts making the shots outside. When you stop that, kills the momentum, and then now you got instead of playing your flow, your pace, now you playing hero ball. So everybody is taking turns 1-on-1. Everybody standing around, not moving the ball. Now you got wasted possessions, and then you look up, now you're down 20, and it's the first quarter. So that's what it was. Just OKC was just better than Minnesota in all facets. They were more prepared. They had more firepower. Had more talent. They were younger. I mean, like from an athleticism standpoint, they had they was throwing like 6, 7 Edwards out there in terms of athleticism at the team, and that's just hard to match up with. Versus playing a slow, tired ass Laker team, it's not playing any perimeter defense.
So from what I've seen in the past series, and honestly in every series throughout the course of the playoffs, I just feel like OKC is a more complete team. Like they have it all. They have perimeter defense. They have scoring inside and outside. Shea Gilgis, he can score at all three levels. And they look like a completely they each player knows their role. That team, they have a great identity. I just feel like they were the most complete team in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to Ed Edwards, so it's kind of crazy how he can, he beats up on like the Lakers and LeBron and KD and all them guys. And it's like when he starts to play his peers, because we saw the same thing last year when he, when he played the Mavericks in the conference finals. When he starts to play against like his peers or guys that are like the same age as him, we don't see that same Anthony Edwards in the playoffs. So this, it's not a shot at him. I'm not necessarily sitting up here saying that he can't compete against these guys, but this has been an ongoing trend the last couple of years. This is definitely something to take notice of.
Facts, and I mean honestly, they could have used Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, and then you want to ask about who won the trade? I think this is like one of the first times in a long time both teams won. I
yeah.
mean, to get to the finals, you got to go to the conference finals.
Right.
Both teams made it to the conference finals. I think New York is going. I mean, yeah, I had them winning this game because it's back in New York. They back at home. They back. If you're gonna lose, you don't want to lose in front of your home fans.
Right.
So, um, I don't really see how Indiana matches up with OKC. I feel like New York matches up better with OKC, but like yeah, they perimeter defense just disappear when they played Indiana. When they play anybody else, they play in defense. They start playing Indiana, and it's like, well, you do no, you do it. That's not winning basketball.
More like you do it. No, 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 you do it. I need to catch my breath for a second because Tibbs he keeping the boys out there 30 plus minutes a game this deep in the season, man. I said it when the playoffs start. Like, bro, that's gonna become a problem when they get to the later rounds in the
They
playoffs, and we starting this and we see that it's become a huge problem.
Indiana's throwing like 10 at you. New York's throwing like 7,
Mm-hmm.
6. So, it's not a winning recipe.
What's crazy is Indiana's a really deep team, bro. Like they
They
started
got
and they bench they come
yeah.
at you.
And they have a lot of skill. All of them have perimeter games.
Mm-hmm.
All of them can shoot. All of them can put the ball on the floor. So it's like it's really interchangeable, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you could almost make that same argument for Minnesota. It's just eh, OKC was just they kept the pace. They made them play their game,
Mm-hmm.
and they never outside that one game they won because they was in front of their home fans.
Right.
They got blown out by when I turned to it, they was up 40. I'm like, well, all right, we're gonna find something else to do. This is over with.
Yep. See, with the Indiana and New York series, I had New York winning the series, but I'm like, oh, the when Indiana came out and they won the first game, I'm like, okay, I kind of knew Indiana was gonna win the series, but I thought it was gonna be okay. Indiana stole one. This is gonna be one of them. Oh, one team, it's gonna be back and forth. One team gonna win one game, one team gonna win the next game, so on and so forth. When they smacked them at it, when they beat them at home both times, the first two games in the conference finals, yeah, Indiana's gonna win this series. You can't come out in the conference finals and drop the first two games at home, especially.
Yeah,
You got home like you blew home court, bro. Not at this point in the playoffs. Bad timing, bad horrible timing.
yeah, that's not the recipe. They ain't gonna get it done.
Not this year.
That's not the recipe for winning.
Which I'm kind of glad because we already had to deal with Philly fans earlier this year with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Had New York got to the finals and won, oh my God. I don't boy. Shut the country down. Shut the country down until this shit is over with.
It honestly wouldn't have bothered me. I'm like, by the time y'all fucking did something, you ain't won nothing since '72.
Yeah.
Yeah, they deserve to pop all that shit. You know what I'm
Y'all,
saying?
y'all still celebrating them two giant Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do want to go back to Anthony Edwards. As much I like Anthony Edwards, and like I do think eventually I do think he may get it done, but honestly, I think it's gonna be somewhere else. And I say that because I see the Timberwolves, I see Anthony Edwards in the Timberwolves. I see the situation being just like the situation that Kevin Garnett had when he was there. They'll always be the team, top four, they'll be top five, top three, maybe the best team in the West, but they'll always be in the second or third round, but they'll ultimately never get over the hump.
I mean,
I think this is their ceiling, and I think over time, Anthony Edwards may start to come to realization like hell, I may just have to go win somewhere else.
yeah, but I don't think. I mean, KG had Marbury, but I don't think KG had like the talent of a Julius Randle or Karl Anthony Towns.
And he
As
had
his
I think he had
sidekick,
Chauncey before he went to Detroit too.
Chauncey Billups.
Yeah. So, but no, my bad. I cut you off.
No, I didn't know. I didn't say nothing.
I mean, granted, I don't want to see him. I mean, I don't want to see him leave. Do I want to see him win with Minnesota? Absolutely. But it's just the way I look at Minnesota. I just think they're always going to be one of them teams that they'll make it to the second or the third round, but ultimately they just won't get to the finals, which is their
Eh,
end goal.
Nah, this is a different ownership group. They spending money.
Yep.
They spending money. So you know what I'm saying. They wanna they wanna get to it. You know what I'm saying. Speaking of another Midwestern team, let's change our focus now to the NFL.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna talk about the NFC North.
Yes, sir.
I think
That is the division we covering this week. For those of y'all
yep.
that ain't been catching on, this is the NFC North.
Yep. So now we're gonna start off with the Chicago Bears.
Yes, sir.
Chicago.
We gonna last the first.
Uh, I'm just gonna start with yeah. We could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. First team, Chicago Bears. Go ahead, Ryan. Take off on it.
Okay, so the Chicago Bears, their first round pick was Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. He was more of a blocking tight end. Second pick was Luther Burden, wide receiver out of Missouri. It's a very good pickup. Give Caleb somebody that, quick outlet passes so he can, do his thing after the catch. Also another second round pick. They had Ozzie Trapolito, offensive tackle for Boston College. Boston College had a nice offensive line last year. Upsetted a couple teams. Shamir Turner, defensive tackle, Texas A&M, another good pickup. Good rusher, pass rusher, good get after the quarterback. Helping the run game. Um, then they got Ruben Hypo Hypole, the second linebacker out of Maryland. They need some linebackers. Zai Frazier, the DB out of University of Texas San Antonio. That's an interesting pick. Then they got Luke Newman in the sixth round out of Michigan State, another guard. So they're leaning towards beefing up their offensive line. And then they got Kyle Magiyanga. I said his name terribly wrong. I apologize, sir. Running back out of Rutgers. Now, Rutgers is kind of trending in the running back position. If you look at
Rutgers.
Rutgers, if you look at what Pacheco is doing, they're starting to get it going. So, and they got Pacheco, I think like a sixth round, seventh round pick too.
Fifth.
Fifth round, yeah, fifth round. So yeah. Um ESPN gave them a B plus for their draft. Yahoo Sports gave them a B. CBS gave them a C plus, and the Ringer gave them an A minus. Tim, how do you feel about the Chicago Bears draft and how it can help them next football season?
Well, obviously with the Chicago Bears draft, obviously it was an offensive driven draft. I think they're showing that they are fully invested into keeping Caleb protected and making sure
Mm-hmm.
that he has plenty of weapons to throw to. That's how I'm looking at it. I mean, we said this last year. Protect your asset. Don't fuck this up. That's perfect. This perfect. Like I said, y'all got a golden opportunity, a transitional, generational talent at QB. Like, don't fuck this up. Plain and simple. How did you feel about that draft?
Um, Kind of like you. I'm still not too sure about how that offensive line is going to be, um, but I do feel like the offense has to be better. Um, there is always that case of the sophomore slump. If we look at CJ and Mr. Love, this past football season, they had some sophomore slumps compared to their first year campaigns. But yeah, I agree with you. They trying to get better offensively, have more explosion on the outside and things like that, and have better protection up front. But I don't see them doing it this year. It's not all gonna happen in one draft. But hopefully they pick some of the key foundationary pieces that's gonna propel them to get to the next level.
All right, let's go over some of them pieces. So the Chicago Bears, they did have a little bit of a streak. Like they started off 4-2 right before the bye week. And when they started off 4-2, we all thought things were trending in the right direction for this team. They didn't proceed to lose every game after the fucking bye week. I think outside of the very last game. So it was just
To
like,
beat Green
damn, what?
Bay, yep.
Yeah. So some key departures for this team. Obviously, they fired head coach Matt Eberflus. Um, Keenan Allen, wide receiver, defensive lineman Demarcus Walker, tight end Gerald Everett, edge rusher Daryl Taylor, offensive lineman Coleman Shelton, offensive lineman Tevin Jenkins, offensive lineman Matt Pryor, and cornerback Jalen Jones. Now, some key additions for this team. They hired Ben Johnson as their head coach, who was the offensive coordinator with Detroit last year. Now, we all knew what Detroit's offense was.
Yeah.
Some more key additions was offensive lineman Jonah Jackson, defensive lineman Grady Jarrett, offensive lineman Joe Tooney, who they acquired in the trade from the Chiefs, Wide receiver Devin Duvernay, edge Dale Adiengbo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Wide receiver Olamide Zacchaeus, cornerback Nick McLeod, tight end Durham Smythe, and some head coaching changes for them. Defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, who was previously the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, as well as before he became the head coach, he was the defensive coordinator there as well. And new offensive coordinator Declan Doyle, who was previously Denver. He was New Orleans offensive assistant last 2 years with the Bears, and he spent some time in Denver. Now, with all the key departures and the key additions of this team, and including the draft, Ryan, what are you making of the Bears this season with everything?
Nothing. I mean, like, on do I have them winning more than 4 games? Yes. Are they gonna make the? Do I feel like they're gonna make the playoffs? That's yet to be seen because I'm not confident about about their offensive line. I'm not confident about their defense. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take more than one off season to get this right. And you're gonna have to have some type of continuity at head coach. You can't just keep firing head coaches because, oh, we gave you all this shit that didn't work. It's like, why are you hiring defensive minded head coaches when you're trying to be an offensive football team? That doesn't really make sense to me. It's like the Bears do the same shit.
Well,
They
Ben
hire
Johnson's actually an offensive minded head coach.
right this time, right?
Yeah,
So
this time.
but before they do the same shit, they get a defensive minded head coach. They get a high draft pick at quarterback. Then they fire that head coach. Then they hire another coach, and then now it's the same carousel. Now we're at the new coach point. But now since it's a offensive minded coach and he was the offensive coordinator on the Detroit Lions, I mean it's gonna take some time, some trades. Maybe they could pick somebody else up in the summertime free agency to shore up that offense. But this is gonna be like a for them to become a perennial playoff team, 2 to 3 years. I feel like.
I'm not mad at that. And I actually agree with you. So even with everything that they added, and like I actually like all the additions that they made. They shored up the offensive line. They got Caleb as many weapons as he can fucking throw to. I think this offense is going to be very exciting, but I do think it's going to take another year, or I do think it's going to take another year or two for this thing to come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them making the playoffs this year. I think this is a lot of trial and error. They got a very young offense. You got a rookie QB. You got a rookie wide receiver come in, and a rookie tight end, a second-year wide receiver, and I mean the veteran on the offense is going to be DJ Moore. So I do think they're going to be a fun, exciting team to watch. I'm not banking on them making the playoffs. I think at most we may see this team go 8-8, 8-9. Also, with the Ben Johnson hire, let's pump the brakes on this because we kind of the same thing happened with the Broncos whenever they hired Nathaniel Hackett. Oh, he was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator. He was helped Aaron Rodgers win MVP and helped Aaron Rodgers touchdown intercept. Okay, we got all that. When he got to the Broncos, what happened?
Nothing.
Clock management was terrible. Lost the locker room. He was not a good fit to be a head coach. So before we, jump the gun on this Ben Johnson hire, which, like I said, I do think it's a great hire. Let's not put Ben Johnson and the Bears on the pedestal just yet. All right. But yeah, this first year, I say 8-9, 8-9, 9-8, something like that.
Yeah, and you also got to look at how the league is trending towards getting younger head coaches, offensive minded head coaches, with the Sean McVays and the Kyle Shanahans and those kind of guys. So they're trying to catch that fire. That's all it is.
Yep.
Moving on.
They jumping on the wave.
Yep. Moving on.
Moving on. Since we're going from last to east, the next team we're gonna take is a team that they made the playoffs last year, the Green Bay Packers. You want to take this one, right? You want to jump up with this one first, right? You want me to take them?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
All right. So the Green Bay Packers went 11-6 last year. Obviously, lost in the wild card round to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sorry. Key departures for this team: cornerback Eric Stokes, running back AJ Dillon, cornerback Corey Ballantyne, center Josh Myers, linebacker Eric Wilson, left tackle Andre Dillard, cornerback Robert Rochelle. Some key additions for this team: linebacker Isaiah Simmons, offensive lineman, linebacker and defensive back, because he's a hybrid, Isaiah Simmons, I'm sorry. Offensive lineman Aaron Banks, wide receiver Mecole Hardman, cornerback Nate Hobbs. Some key draft picks for the Packers. Obviously, they drafted a wide receiver for the first time in how long? Was it 15 years?
In the first round. I don't know.
Yeah, they drafted wide receiver Matthew Golden out of Texas, tackle Anthony Belton, wide receiver Savion Williams, defensive lineman Baron Sorrell, defensive lineman Colin Oliver, defensive lineman Warren Brinson, cornerback Michael Robinson, and offensive lineman John Williams. Ryan, you go ahead, you take the Packers first. Let me know what you think about this team, and what is their outlook for this upcoming season.
I mean, obviously they need some more wide receivers. So I like the Matthew Golden pick. Kind of curious about the Savon Williams pick. He was kind of drop city here sometimes at TCU. But like for real, they got an offensive tackle. Uh, they just went straight, then the guard. But outside of that, they went straight defense. So yeah, they gotta get that defense together, to give their offense a chance to rest, so they can put up some points. I like the draft overall. I feel like it's pretty solid. I feel like Green Bay is still gonna be one of those teams, with their running game with Josh Jacobs. I still feel like they're gonna be one of those teams that's in contention to do something and make the playoffs, and hopefully, 1 or 2 wins, and now they in the NFC Championship game. Just they need to show up at the offensive line, because obviously, I guess Mr. Love is brittle, like peanut brittle or something. Because it felt like every other game he was getting hurt, and you can't pay somebody all that money and have them get hurt like that. So they got to protect their asset, like we just talked about with Chicago. So overall, it's a pretty good draft. I probably give it a B, modest 85.
So I do feel like the Packers had a good draft. I think they finally realized, like, look, we can't, if there's a good wide receiver on the board, whenever it's time for us to draft, we can't keep passing these motherfuckers up. So, they went ahead and grabbed them. The Packers as a team, though, I kind of see more of the same from this. I kind of see more of the same this season from this team, like we saw like the same shit we saw last season. I kind of think we're gonna see the same thing this season. They're gonna be in playoff contention. There's a lot of targets to go around on that offense, but until they get the wide receiver situation figured out, I don't think this team is gonna make too much of a deep playoff threat. You got a bunch of wide receiver twos.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bunch of wide receivers on that team that can be a solid number 2 wide receiver, but they really have to get who's going to be the number 1, who's going to be the go-to guy in that offense. The Christian Watson project, I think with them drafting Matthew Golden, I think it's safe to say that the Christian Watson project is over with.
And they got another wide receiver out of Maryland, Ty Felton. So
I did forget about him.
This kind
No,
of
that's the Vikings. That's the Vikings.
Oh yeah, my bad.
No,
I'm ahead of myself. I'm ahead of myself.
You good. It's good to be ahead.
I mean, shit. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of gonna be like shades of like the '89 Dallas draft. They drafted hella quarterbacks. One of you motherfuckers is gonna be the guy. So
if you're not gonna do it, that's cool. He gonna do it. He not gonna. You gonna do it. One of you motherfuckers is gonna work out. We ain't draft all y'all for no fucking reason. That's what when they get to coming in. When they get to coming in the office, this is the reason we ain't paid none of y'all yet. And one of you motherfuckers is gonna work out. And they draft. You know what they brought Mecole there for, right? He's supposed to be like the veteran presence.
Yeah, please, man. We better be the veteran catcher, motherfucker. better be catching some fucking passes.
Right.
All right. So who you want to do next?
Next up, obviously the Minnesota Vikings. Ryan, you jumped up into it. Ryan, you go ahead and take it.
All right. So the Minnesota Vikings first round draft pick. They got Devion Jackson, guard at Ohio State. Third round, Ty Felton, Maryland. Fifth round, Teron Ingram, Dawkins, edge rusher out of Georgia. Kobe King, linebacker, Penn State. That's a pretty good pickup. Galvin Bartholomew, tight end, Pittsburgh. Um, yeah, okay. So they let Darnold walk. So JJ McCarthy, last I checked, this motherfucker, he really, I think he was like maybe 205 when he got to the NFL. And then like them pictures, he's every bit of like 170, 175. Who else do they got at quarterback? Like I'm confused. This draft is kind of like, let's replace what we lost. I mean, why are you drafting a tight end and you just paid your tight end? But he is, but you know that Galvin Bartholomew, he was more like a blocking tight end, so that I guess that can help on the offensive line. They got a guard, first round getting the guard, lets you know where they're at. Yeah, I mean, I get shit. I give this draft a C minus. It had nothing. I mean, Kobe Keene, that is a good pickup out of Penn State. Penn State does produce great talent at linebacker, and at this point, when is the last player, especially on defense, that didn't pan out in the NFL that came went to Georgia?
That's
You know,
fair.
especially in the last shit, fucking 8 or 9 years. So you pretty much green light on that one. But yeah, I give it a C. I mean, there's nothing that really pops out to me. I don't feel like they got better, and I guess they putting the franchise on JJ.
As far as the draft goes, like I give it a C minus. I'm not gonna give it a D because I mean they did address the offensive line concerns, but I do feel like they needed more defensive help, so I give it that.
Yeah.
But as far as like some additions and departures, they some key departures: left tackle Cam Robinson, quarterback Sam Darnold, defensive lineman Jerry Tillery, tight end Johnny Munt, offensive lineman Ed Ingram, and edge rusher Patrick Jones. Some key additions: defensive lineman Jonathan Allen, center Ryan Kelly, cornerback Jeff Okuda, wide receiver Rondell Moore, linebacker Eric Wilson, and running back Jordan Mason. Overall, with the Vikings, obviously their number one question is the quarterback position. It's like, we're going from, we saw what Sam Darnold was able to do with pretty much it's a tailor-made offense. It's pretty much an insert quarterback. You got two good wide receivers to throw the ball to.
Hmm.
So I think with the Minnesota Vikings, obviously they're going with JJ McCarthy at QB. For JJ McCarthy, it was unfortunate that you had to sit out your whole rookie season because I was actually looking forward to seeing you play. But the bet, if you were smart about this whole situation with your recovery or whatever, I hope you watched every game. I hope you watched every game, and I hope I hope you ran up the hours on that iPad because you are coming. There is no working you. They are throwing you into the fire. There is no working you into it. They are throwing. You are going to be the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And to be quite honest, you coming into a similar situation that Sam Darnold came into. You got a running back. You got two. You got two good wide receivers. Like it's damn near impossible for you to mess this up. It really is. It's damn near impossible for you to mess this up. But the Minnesota Vikings as a whole, I don't see them going 14-3 next year.
Of course not.
I'm just saying. I
I
don't see them
mean,
going. I don't see them going 14-3 next year. I don't.
if they do, give that man a raise.
Yeah, if they do, that's if they do.
Give that nigga a raise because he's doing a great job. I mean, damn, bro. Okay, his quarterbacks: Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy. Now I'm not throwing no shade on JJ. Nigga just got there. Damn, bro. it's it's
Third
looking
quarterback in the last 3 years.
it's looking fucked up. It's looking kind of fucked up right now, and I'm just this might be a down year, and I hate it when franchises like prematurely cut their court or their gay coach because, well, damn it, the last 4 or 3 years we did this, we had this bad year, so fuck you. That's just the owner. And I never liked that motherfucker. And it's one of the reasons to fire his ass. But uh, we'll just have to see with Minnesota. I'm not sure. All right, coming up next, we got the Detroit Lions, the
Arr.
reigning defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. Tim,
Yes,
take it
sir.
away.
Yes, sir. Detroit Lions coming in last year 15-2, lost in the divisional round to the Washington Commanders in what was a surprising playoff loss, mind you. Some key departures for the Detroit Lions. They obviously lose their defensive court. They obviously lose their offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. They lose cornerback Carlton Davis, offensive lineman Kevin Zietler, defensive lineman Jonah Williams, edge rushers Darius Smith, and cornerback Emmanuel Mosley. Some key additions for this team: cornerback DJ Reed, cornerback Avante Maddox, and cornerback Rocky Sin. Ron, I'm gonna let you take the draft, and you tell me what you think of the draft and what you think of the team.
Talik Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State's pretty good. Offensive guard, Tay Ratledge, Georgia. Isaac Tesla, wide receiver, Arkansas. Miles Frazier, guard, LSU. Ahmad Hassan, edge, Boise State. Dan Jackson, safety, Georgia. Dominic Levitt, wide receiver, Georgia. I mean, boy, Georgia's all over the fucking three. It's from Georgia. Three is from Georgia on this team, and I do like the wide receiver pickup from Arkansas.
Wait,
But
one more thing, a couple more things, Ron. I'm sorry. New offensive coordinator, John Morton, who was the Broncos pass game coordinator last year. He was also a senior offensive assistant for the Raiders. And then their new defensive coordinator is Kelvin Shepard, who's been he's for the past 7 years, he's been the Lions linebackers coach. And he also played for the Lions in his last year in the NFL. But my bad, Ryan, go ahead.
yeah, I give this draft a C plus. They definitely addressed some issues that they had. They guard, offensive guard, safety, wide receiver. They definitely addressed some issues that they had, and definitely got some more bodies to throw out there because just in case of a random ass injury. But overall, I don't really see how this helps them. Um, with the new offensive coordinator coming in, I probably would imagine it'll just be kind of like the same rendition, kind of like the same offense that they ran last year, just with a couple different wrinkles, from his mind, what he thinks. Um, but did they get better? I don't necessarily think so, but did they get worse? No, no, I don't think they got worse. So, this is just a matter of we'll just see how it starts off, but don't mess up the nucleus. The nucleus of this football team is running the fucking ball. Okay, don't fuck it up because now you got a new offensive coordinator and this is my show. No, don't do that. Okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Add to it, but don't fuck it up. Don't take away from it.
Right. Something that we tried to tell Matt Eberflus last year, but you want to listen to us. You want to keep doing the same old stupid ass shit.
What they
but
said to him. So cow.
So for the Detroit Lions, I know a lot of people are thinking that, oh, this team Super Bowl window is closed because they lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I don't necessarily believe that. You pretty much have the same core coming back on defense and on offense. It's just, you just have two new faces running the show. As long as they can keep it, kind of. I like the defensive coordinator. I like the defensive coordinator hire. They didn't go too far out. They went in house. Kelvin Shepard, he's familiar with, how the Detroit Lions do things. He's familiar with the defense. So I think he's just going to pick up where Aaron Glenn left off. Now, the offensive coordinator, I don't know if this offense is going to be as exciting as it, because we saw a lot of different stuff
Right.
out of the Detroit Lions.
It's probably more like a pro set kind of.
I think it's going to be much. I think we see a much more simplified offense. I don't think we see passes to the offensive lineman or anything crazy like that. But I still think Detroit is going to win this division next year. They're going to be a high ranking seed in the playoffs. But They may lose a little, not much. They may lose a little bit of an edge, but as far as I'm concerned, as long as your offensive, you keep the offensive nucleus together, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameer Gibbs, Montgomery, Goff is there, and the offensive line is still healthy. I still think this team go out there, compete with the best of them, and still make a run for a Super Bowl title.
Yes.
So I don't think I don't think this is it's completely I don't think it's completely done with for the Lions. If they have a Super Bowl window, this is it. I think this is the last. I do think this could possibly be the last year of that Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
I think
Damn,
that
bro.
I know.
They just started making playoffs.
I know, and I think, like I said, I think as long as Goff is there, and they keep that nucleus together, I do think they'll still be, I do think they'll be a dominant team. But as far as them like making the Super Bowl, I don't know. I think this may be if they gonna do it, because the NFC is slowly getting back to being really competitive again.
Mm-hmm.
I think this gonna be. I think this has to be the year.
Not
This
top
has
heavy
to be
no
the year.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and I will give them credit because they, one of the main reasons they lost in the playoffs is because they lost a lot of pieces on that defense.
Not to say a
I
lot of
will,
injuries.
I will give them credit for going out and getting some depth at the cornerback
Mm-hmm.
position and at the cornerback position and on the defensive line. So,
Mm-hmm.
we just have to see, man. I'm not. I still love Dan Campbell. I still think Dan Campbell's a great leader, a great head coach, but I don't know. I don't. It's a transition. It is definitely a transition with this Lions team.
Yep. And hopefully it's a transition. It's kind of hard because sometimes it takes losing that offensive coordinator for whatever reason for them to just click and then get to the net. I don't know what it is with that. I don't know what it is with that. Maybe it's maturity sometimes from a player personnel standpoint, but we'll just have to see because right now it's May and we still speculating. So
Mm-hmm.
OTA is getting ready to start up, about to heat up. Got what about 99, 98 days
Until the season start.
till the season starts. So yeah, let's get it, baby. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I hate that you said that because it's like it's just more of a realization that, bro, we that much closer to the fucking dark days.
Hey, bro, that's why I mean, fuck. Like if I don't know what's going on in the Indiana series right now, but if they win, we ain't got no basketball to the fucking fifth. That's
Whole
next
week.
Thursday. That's next
That's a whole
Thursday
week.
from today. Yeah, so it's like,
That's why I'm like, yeah, you know what, bro? It's time for me to go ahead and start getting back in the gym fucking consistently. I've been saying it the last month, but me getting this new job and fucking I'm back doing a whole bunch of physical shit.
you know what I'm saying. In fact, it's coming down. It's coming down surely but slowly. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. So, all right, Ryan. So, if it looks like it's gonna be Indiana, I mean, what's the score of the fucking?
Right.
So, okay, the Knicks are gonna win, but more than
Yeah,
likely,
they're at home.
yeah,
I call that. I'm like, no, that if they're gonna lose, it's gonna be game six.
right,
But the NBA need at least one series to make because they don't make no money when that shit is 4 and 5 games.
yeah,
When that shit goes 6 and 7, that's when they getting all them revenue dollars coming in.
yeah. So,
So
all right, so I'm pretty sure by the time this episode drops, pretty sure the Pacers will probably be going on to the finals. So, why don't you give me your prediction? Who wins the finals? And how many games?
well, my finals predictions halfway right. I had Boston and OKC. Well, shit happens. OKC gets there. I don't really. If Indiana gets there, gentlemen sweep 5 games.
OKC or Indiana?
Five. No. OKC
Okay.
5 games. They don't. Okay. Um. They don't got nobody to check Shea.
No.
So
No.
they gonna be Indiana's gonna be switching every fucking time to keep Halliburton off of Shea to keep him out of foul trouble. So that means Shea can just take advantage of matchups. And if Shea can't get it going, he can dump that shit off the homegrown. or throw that shit out the door to Jalen Williams on the outside. I mean, and then the other Jalen Williams too, and then OKC is legitimately throwing 10 people at you.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana is throwing about 10 too, but I don't know if the skills is going to match up. And then honestly, OKC, yeah, the experience level is about matched. It's about matched. The one thing they can say, we got the league MVP and we got the conference MVP on our team. Well, I mean, if Indiana wins, Halliburton's probably gonna be the conference MVP too. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, gentlemen sweep. OKC, you know, they get their second ring in franchise history. You know, because the last time they won one was when they was the Supersonics in '79, the year before my Lakers. You know, before Showtime was started. So yeah.
So I do think it's gonna be OKC. I say 6 games. I am rooting for Indy though, because that's one of them cities where they deserve a final. They deserve a finals. They really do. They do. I mean, they've been there. You know, they've been there numerous times. They've been back and forth to the damn conference finals, and they're a basketball city.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana is a basketball city. And I feel like if anybody deserves, an NBA championship, if any city deserves their first NBA championship, I definitely feel like it's Indy. But yeah, I think, but I do think OKC is gonna get it done. Simply in there are two players you didn't even talk about that they can throw at you to, they don't got to do nothing else but defend Halliburton. But I think Lou Dort and Caruso is going to be key in the finals because I think Lou Dort is going to completely take Siakam out of the series. I really do. I think Lou Dort completely takes Pascal Siakam out of the series.
If
And after
Siakam
seeing
if
and after,
Siakam can compete can consistently get in the paint, I don't know.
I don't know. I think Lou Dort takes him completely out of the series. I do. I think Lou Dort takes him completely out of the series, and after seeing how Alex Caruso guarded Anthony Edwards throughout I mean, he didn't completely stop him because Anthony Edwards did have 2 games, but after seeing the way he guarded him in, the conference finals in the series against the Timberwolves, I definitely think he's going to make it very difficult for Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think he's going to make it. I think him and Dagenhart, they're talking right now, and they're scheming up a plan to make it very different for Halliburton.
Yeah, and then I don't know because like you feel like the longer if the Knicks win the next game, it's like
Uh-oh.
yeah. Now it's like now the pressure's really back on Indiana. So
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I think you will agree with me, bro. If you Indiana, don't let this shit get back to New York.
mm-hmm.
Do not do. I think any and everybody can. Don't let this, bro. If y'all let this series get back to, if y'all somehow fuck this up, and this series gets back to New York, yeah, New York is going to win this shit.
We gotta be like you gotta be like Mike, man. Close out in 6.
Yeah, you, you,
Never
you
seen in
have to.
7.
You have to. Don't let this shit. Indiana, listen closely. Don't let this shit get back to New York. You better close this shit out next. You better close this shit out Saturday night because if y'all let this shit get to a game 7 in New York, Madison Square, man, they gonna have to call the fucking SWAT team.
Right, type
um,
shit.
that's not a team that is not where you want to play a game 7 in the conference finals. I can
No,
promise you that.
not in front of that crowd. No,
Not new.
no.
You don't even want to
They
walk in the arena in a game 7 with that crowd.
they wait. They just they want to cheer about something. Nigga get 5 go to the free throw line. They cheering. Yeah.
You saw what they was doing to Windhorse, didn't you?
Who?
Well, one of the fans said to Windhorse, they was like, "Yeah, what you think about the Knicks making it to the conference finals?" And he started to say something, and the dude was like, "Oh, give a fuck, pussy! Talk all this shit now."
Somebody did it. Yeah.
Like, bro, all that shit is unnecessary, dog.
They crazy.
Oh yeah, man. But as always, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. If you have made it this far in the episode, as always, we thank you. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Give us constructive criticism. Let us know what you do like. Let us know what you don't like. Just don't be in the comments talking shit. All right.
Press play, share it to your grandma and your friends or whoever. Share it to your aunties, your cousins, shit. You can share it and talk shit. Look at these motherfuckers.
Okay, I take the. Hey, you motherfuckers love post. You motherfuckers love raised baiting and all that, posting spam. You can do the shit on that as long as we getting views. You can do the shit under ours. Like I would welcome it and greatly appreciate it.
Fucking bitches.
Anyways, man, that's gonna be it until next week's episode. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and announce it right now, Ryan. You know what next week is, don't you? Not next week, but the next episode. You know what the next episode is, don't you?
NFC East.
I was just gonna say it's Cowboys week.
NFC East. All right.
It's Cowboys next week, baby. It's Cowboys week next week.
Talk about how Dallas did absolutely nothing yet again.
I don't know, man. Shit. I think the move with George Pickens is worth fucking 10 moves, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They did, because we gonna say, but they just did the one thing that they got the one piece. I'm not even gonna say the one piece, but they got one of the biggest pieces that they needed for their fucking offense.
I mean, it's gonna free up CD definitely, but they still need a tight end. They still need a running back. Still questions on offensive line. Zach Martin finally retired. What the fuck is Dak gonna do? Who's the offensive coordinator? There's too many questions, too many holes, too many things to poke at.
I see with their running back situation is just like Green Bay situation is like, but they got a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. They got a bunch of them now. Like, yeah, we know we need a running back. One of you motherfuckers is gonna be it.
So one of you bitches is gonna be fucking good, bitch. Yeah.
But until next time, brother, I love you, man, and
stay safe
and don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
All right.